So, folks, they may not like me doing this, but because this is a hot topic for many of you, and since the media and medical industry will not address this, I thought I would let you guys in on what you need to know. I want you guys to understand that what I am about to get into and discuss, part of it is going to seem a bit out there, or should I say, very esoteric. But it will make better sense once I explain it. Some of you may have heard me mention some time ago that a lot of the technology that we take for granted today is actually what are called gifts. A UFO that crashes to Earth, that is recovered and reverse engineered, is considered a gift from an unseen entity. And yes, I am talking about fallen angels and demons. They consider the technology they give us as gifts. A lot of the electronic technology we use today would be considered gifts. And your cell phone is also considered a gift. In the early 90s, there was a TV series called Monsters. And in one episode, there was this man who was being stalked by this woman who kept calling him using this sexy, seductive voice. Later on, he gave in and decided that he wanted to meet her. Now let me know, folks, if this has ever happened to you. He wants to meet her, and so now she decides to tell him that she's not like other women, that she's not that pretty, that he might not like her after he meets her. Yeah, I know this has happened to some of you guys. Turns out, she wasn't like other women. She was a monster living inside his telephone. A little alien-looking monster with big lips that just broke out of his telephone looking like Audrey from Little Shop of Horrors. And then attacks the guy for a kiss. Crazy show if you guys have never seen it. Now, there is a video out there that is footage of a cell phone. Whether this video is real or not, I am bringing it up as an introduction into what I am about to discuss. In that footage, there is a cell phone that has been placed in a microwave oven. As the microwave is powered up and begins to microwave the cell phone looks as if it is beginning to melt. But what is happening is that some disfigured John Carpenter style thing comes out of the cell phone. And the moment you see this, you look over at your cell phone. So what's going on here, you ask? Well, we live in a crazy world where truth is often stranger than fiction. And sometimes the perception of what we can see gets in the way of us becoming aware of what is actually there, beyond our vision. You know, you guys are going to learn about this crazy world or else. I mean, we all know there is something very wrong about having all this electromagnetic energy flowing around and through us all the time. I want to show you guys an abstract from a publication entitled Dirty Electricity, Chronic Stress, Neurotransmitters, and Disease. Dirty electricity, also called electrical pollution, is high-frequency voltage transients riding along the 50 or 60 hertz electricity provided by the electric utilities. It is generated by arcing, by sparking, and by any device that interrupts current flow, especially switching power supplies. It has been associated with cancer, diabetes, and attention deficit hyperactivity disorder in humans. Epidemiological evidence also links dirty electricity to most of the diseases of civilization, including cancer, cardiovascular disease, diabetes, and suicide. beginning at the turn of the 20th century. The dirty electricity level in a public library was reduced from over 10,000 Graham-Stelzer units to below 50 Graham-Stelzer units by installing plug-in capacitive filters. Before cleanup, the urinary dopamine level of only one of the 7 volunteers was within normal levels, while 4 of the 7 phenethylamine levels were normal. After initial decline, over the next 18 weeks, the dopamine levels gradually increased to an average of over 215, that's in micrograms, parts per million, of creatinine, which is well above 170 micrograms of creatinine, the high normal level for the lab. Average phenethylamine levels also rose gradually to slightly above 70 micrograms of creatinine, the high normal level for the lab. Neurotransmitters may be biomarkers for dirty electricity and other electromagnetic field exposures. We believe that dirty electricity is a chronic stressor of electrified populations and is responsible for many of their disease patterns. Interesting, right? There was a video that was published back in 2011. I'll put the link in the description box below. It was put out by Francis Fox, a psychic investigator who has experience in the practice of remote viewing. Now, most of you are not psychics, so whether you agree with remote viewing or not, I just want to summarize her findings for the purpose of this presentation. In 1997, Fox used her remote viewing skills to look inside the bodies of 33 females. By the way, she is very much aware of the symbolism of numbers. Okay? So, she ended up sketching out 33 females from the ages of 9 to 65. And what she found was what she calls congestion in the body, an energetic congestion of the liver, gallbladder, kidneys, back of the neck region, back of the eyes. This congestion she describes as actually a precursor to disease. In her correspondence with the women who were viewed, she did confirm the symptoms of the congestion they had, but they had not yet succumbed to any particular disease. See, the idea here is that disease starts first in the mind. Then as time goes on, the symptoms get worse. Then you actually get physically sick to the point where you need medical attention. Now, Fox says that this congestion that leads to disease, after pulling out her old sketches and revisiting her work, is a result of the congestion of energy at the mind level. And this is being caused by electric radiation. Fox says that the reason these women are having this issue is because that protective layer, that energetic layer of the mind, is being burnt up by the Wi-Fi, the cell phones, the towers, and other mobile devices. There was a woman who she had brought on the presentation and discovered that her congestion was likely due to her sitting next to her cell phone with a Bluetooth device in her ear for 5 hours a day. Fox describes the perturbation as a breakdown of astral particles. Now, there are 2 terms Fox uses that I thought were very useful, and those are electro-fog and electro-addiction. Electro-fog is like a cloudiness that comes over your mind. You become a bit lost or confused, and you find it very hard to focus. And when you really think about it, how many things exist that we can easily get addicted to? So, is it possible that your body, being an electric being yourself, can your body form a physical addiction to the EMFs that come off of something like your cell phone? What if people are actually more addicted to the electricity, the EMFs that are emitted by the cell phone, than the actual cell phone apps or contacts they have stored in the phone. How many of you have heard of this before? Well, welcome to Woodward TV. But wait, it gets better. Most of you are familiar with or have heard of ley lines, right? And these are straight lines that are drawn between two historical structures, like the pyramids of Giza and the Mexican pyramid of the sun. You draw a straight line between those 2 points, and that's a ley line. Some say it is an energetic pathway as well. Think about it. These megalithic structures around the world do line up with the stars and with each other in some respects, right? Why is that? Why would they need to make those alignments? Why would they need those energetic paths from one place to another? Is it because those ley lines are used by evil spirits to travel around the earth? I mean, many of us already think that these places served as portals, right? Demonic spirits traveling from pyramid to pyramid instantaneously through ley line paths. Crazy, right? Wait, it gets crazier. Some believe that not only can these spirits travel along energetic ley lines through portals to get from one place to another, they can also travel through electromagnetic energy lines or electrical lines through computer port holes into your computer or mobile devices. You see, folks, I keep showing you guys symbolism used by mega corporations and even on devices. And these symbols are primarily used as incantations. And I wouldn't be surprised if spirits use these devices for just that purpose, to get to you. It makes you wonder, right? The number of times your phone has rung, maybe a number you didn't recognize. Is it possible that a few of those calls weren't from actual people? Forget about computer bots. How many times have you communicated with someone online, maybe on social media, who had no identity, meaning there was no picture, no description, no bio? You maybe only exchanged a brief message or two with that person. Maybe that person came across as strange. Maybe that tiny, brief encounter was strange. Maybe that other person wasn't another person. Again, I'm not talking about bots. It makes you wonder how many people out there are getting catfished by demons. Now, you're probably wondering, well, how does this type of thing make it into the design? How do these people know to engineer this stuff into the design and manufacturing? And all I can say is voices in the head. I mean, they are spirits. Their whole game is based on influence. Any of you ever try to take apart an iPhone? Especially one of these latest versions? You have to have the patience and skills of a heart surgeon to take apart one of these things without breaking it. And when you finally get it open, everything is plated. There's nothing you can fix inside. You can only really replace parts. Inside one of the latest versions of the iPhone, they use a A15 Bionic motherboard. For those of you who know what the word bionic means, the definition states that it is usually referring to an artificial limb, which makes sense, but it is a combination of something biological and electrical, mechanical. Don't worry, folks. There is more on this I want to share with you guys. I am going to stop here, though, and this should give you guys something interesting to look further into in the meantime. So there is definitely more to come all this week. Be sure to visit WoodwardEntertainment.com and the Woodward Entertainment Store. You can follow me on Instagram at jwoodward. You know, folks, if someone is dying or in need of an emergency assistance, they should be calling 911 and not you. You can leave your cell phone by itself sometimes. Or better yet, you can leave it home sometimes. It won't kill you. or anybody that you're connected to. I haven't heard yet of anybody dying because they couldn't get a hold of a friend or relative, unless you count suicide, which apparently could be a side effect of cell phone EMFs. Stay awake, stay aware, and stay safe, friends. God bless, and I'll talk to you all soon.